Every f***ing Call of Duty player wants the old minimap back. Everyone says that in the feedback, and then here's what they say. After getting the feedback they asked for, currently in the MW2 beta, we only show enemy player dots when a UAV is active. The design reason for this is that we do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. We also want players to actively search out the origin of a gunshot. The audacity. With all the audio pollution in Infinity Ward games, you're telling me I have to echolocate where gunshots are coming from? Activision devs do not play their own game. It's not your dad doesn't support you.
You should know, you worked at a coffee shop, you stupid bitch.
My name is Casey, and absolutely not fucking Tanner, because my parents don't hate me that much.
Hey, did they have just 8 patches lined up, but they just didn't release them because they were on break? No, you moron kids.
Then we'll, of course, get into it. Change your fucking name and get scammed. He's feeling under the weather.
I probably won't say another word until Stay Humble, so have a good pod, Raz. I'll be here listening.
Got it. We are live. Welcome, boys and girls, to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast, episode number 265. My name is Casey, also known as Razinon. I am joined once again by Tiny Tanner, Unathletic Tanner. Tanner, how's it going?
Good. Oh man, I was yawning and stretching at the same time. God, that feels good when you get hit both at the same time.
Yep.
Oh man.
True.
God, that's fantastic.
True and based. Absolutely. Shout out to stretches and yawns. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Today, we're doing an episode. If you're new, we have timestamps so you can skip to whatever section you damn well please. But with that said, we've got a number of things to talk about today. Not the biggest episode, but there are a couple of interesting things that we have not yet talked about that we want to get into. Obviously, tomorrow, the beta is going to be available for us. Since we don't own PlayStations, we're very excited for that. Looking forward to that, and then all the content's really going to ramp up then. But we'll talk more about that. So we got a good amount to discuss today. Before that, some announcements. And first, welcome to our new patrons. We did not announce new patrons last week. I have included all of you in this week. So if you've joined in the last 2 weeks, then welcome and thanks. First of all, starting with our new gold patrons, we got Thomas with no profile picture. Great. I'll take it. Tom's probably better. You're an adult. Stop calling yourself Thomas. You're Tom. But welcome aboard, buddy. And thank you, our very own new gold patron. We've also got NTEX, and that is a change it. Uncapitalized NTEX. I almost like it as like an RPG name, but I don't think I do. I
see that name a lot spelled different variations. I think it's a Tarkov streamer is named Intex, but it's like INTEC. It's like it sounds the same, but it's a different spelling. I've seen that a few times. Interesting. It is. Well, I kind of like the name actually. It sounds cool. Intex sounds dope.
Yeah.
Sounds better than Razinon.
That's false.
It's okay.
Razinon's the best made up video game name ever made.
Got it.
Capitalize it though, but I'm glad you didn't put a profile picture, and welcome, buddy. Thank you very much. And Kyle O, new gold patron. I've never seen that last name before, or anything even remotely similar. I don't know what is that. Do some
research into that.
Yeah, what country are we looking at here? Let me guess. I'm guessing that is English. Maybe? I'm going to go with English. I don't know, though.
The meaning, Old English pre-7th century.
There we go, yeah.
Meaning a wood or copse? Cops? I don't know that.
I don't know what I know what cops are, but...
Cope. C-O-P-S-E. Copse? Cops? What is that word?
C-O-P-S-E? Yeah, I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Don't know. Full fuck the British, of course.
Fuck the British, fuck the English. But not Kyle, except Kyle. Kyle, welcome aboard, buddy. Our new gold patron. Very kind of you. More importantly, we got a couple new Damascus patrons. Starting off with Liam M. Again, no profile picture. I like that. Liam's a fine name. I have no problems here.
We see a lot of Liams. Have you noticed that? We had a lot of them lately.
We had another Liam a while ago. Maybe it's the same Liam re-upping. It's possible.
Maybe.
I don't know, but it's possible. But
true.
Liam, welcome aboard. Welcome back, maybe. Whatever the case may be. Very kind of you, sir. And last but not least, Akabashi. And then a hashtag with a billion numbers. Absolutely change it. And this is a grown-ass man. We have our first and only profile picture. It's an adult man with his wife and child. Little vacay pic. I like the picture, I'll be honest. It's a nice little pic.
I feel like he's a great-looking guy. It looks like he has some nice hair on that head. He's got great-looking sunglasses. Sure. He looks like he's a really handsome man.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
They're too big.
What kind of sunglasses do you wear? Do you have any sunglasses? Put them on. Let me see what they look like.
I'll put these absolute suckers on. I'm not a fan of the big sunglasses. These are this is the correct size and style. See, nice and
those are fucking terrible. That is the worst style of sunglasses. Dude. Those are like the 70-year-old white man sunglasses right there. Yeah, those are horrendous, dude. So this guy's his are way better. Way better.
They're not, by the way, just so you guys can hear that. You
guys don't even need to watch the video. Raz's sunglasses are fucking dog shit.
Bro, they're literally Maui.
You're saying that
popular Maui gyms.
I have never heard that name in my life.
Maui gyms?
Maui? I've never heard Maui gym.
Sunglasses. No. Oh, then you're retarded. These are super popular sunglasses. Top 3.
Okay, they have good-looking sunglasses. You just have the worst style by them.
Maui gyms. I can't even think of a more popular one besides those two. I can't.
I've never heard of Maui gym, and I've never heard anyone use that name.
Yeah, well, you're a tardo.
Yeah, you literally have the ugliest ones they make.
That's
holy
false.
Shit.
No. Oh, Oakley is more popular. Yeah, there's another one. Yeah.
I don't even see yours on here. I think they stopped selling them. Yeah. Oh, here it says right here they're too ugly. They stopped selling them.
Oh yeah. Is that so?
That's right there. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Anyway, Akabashi. You don't look like a samurai, by the way. You look like a white man, and this sounds like a Japanese samurai name. I like the name actually, Akabashi. That's dope. But it sounds like a samurai, like an anime character, you know. Which I'll take, but don't be a white man. Or you can be. It's fine. Race is fake, I guess. So anyway, welcome aboard, buddy. Buy smaller sunglasses, and glad to have you here, sir.
Your sunglasses look great, man.
They don't.
Okay.
Too big. So welcome to all of our new patrons. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Best way to support the show. We are now ramping up for this month with our Patreon episodes. We have released our Platinum and Damascus patron Q&A for this month. That went live this morning. We did a bit of a longer ep. We would have gone even longer, but Tanner had to do shit, so we stopped. And in that episode also, we did do our Patreon Vault Edition giveaway. Congrats to our winner, Horg A. I have paid you for the Vault Edition. We got in contact. He's gotten money. He can buy the Vault Edition with it if he wants, or whatever. Don't care. Doesn't matter, but congrats to you. And thanks to all of our patrons. Just a little kind of gesture there. Given back to the community. And I hope Horg enjoys that. And I don't think he actually had bought COD yet, so I'm actually glad he won. He was talking about Tarkov. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's good. It's good it went to him. So congrats to you, Horg.
So he thought he won Tarkov EOD edition? What did he say?
No, he was talking about how he's been playing Tarkov.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice. Good for him.
Yeah, so congrats, Horg, and yeah, for you Platinum and Damascus patrons, that Q&A episode is up now. It is long, and it was actually pretty good, especially by your guys' dog shit standards.
One of the Best one in at least a few months, yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Been a lot of bad ones recently. So.
Yeah, a lot of terrible ones. So, and then yeah, on the topic of the Patreon, we got a lot of banger eps coming up. We're going to be playing the beta tomorrow. We're going to be recording a bonus ep on Friday. We're going to be doing a lot. We're going to be pumping out a lot of really good content, both on Saturdays and on the Patreon. So now's a really good time to join. If you've been thinking about it, it's the best way to support the show. As little as $5 a month, you get 3 bonus eps. You get all the public episodes ad-free, and you get them early access. What more can you possibly ask for? So, figure it out. Patreon.com/thedropshot. We got a lot of really good episodes coming up. I'm very excited. And also, tomorrow, we may or may not be streaming the gameplay of the beta, of the multiplayer beta. Normally, Tanner would stream. I don't think he wants to. So then I was like, well, I'll stream if you don't want to. That's fine. But it's going to be hot tomorrow. So if it's too hot, I'm not streaming. So we might not stream tomorrow.
We'll figure it out. If you really aren't going to stream, maybe I will. Well, yeah, so I just don't like streaming beta shit like day 1, hour 1, because I'm going to be going through my settings. I'm going to be trying to figure shit out. I don't know. It's just kind of annoying.
Vanguard did copy all of our settings, so maybe the beta will too. Like, I didn't have to change a single Vanguard setting or keybind. Yeah. Which was actually super clutch.
Well,
hopefully it does do that.
Maybe even if anything, if we'll play it for a little bit and if everything's feeling well, we're not crashing, then maybe we can go live 30 minutes, an hour later or something. I don't know. You'll figure it out though tomorrow.
We'll figure it out. We will probably end up streaming the beta, but check it out, thedropshot.com/live. If we do, it'll be around 10 a.m., which is when the beta goes live. So very excited about that. We've also got our Damascus hangout for this week. We're going to be doing movie night again. We were going to do trivia, but it costs like $1,000, so we're not doing that.
We were very excited for that too.
We're going to pick a movie and watch it on a date and time. Go to our Twitter or go to our Discord. You can find
Friday,
the schedule
6 p.m., 6:30. I think we fucked around at 6:30, didn't we?
Yes, 6:30.
Yeah, cool, man.
So that's going to be fun, and I'm excited about that. And then next week it's going to be a great fucking week. It's going to be a great week on the Patreon, and it's going to be really good Saturday episodes coming up. We're doing our first impressions of the beta this Saturday. I'm very excited to get into that. Next Saturday, I'm sure we'll have something really good to talk about too, because we're going to start getting intel drops, more leaks, hopefully soon, some DMZ info, which I'm the most looking forward to. So I'm excited. It's a really exciting time. So just keep your eyes on everything. And then also Aussie Menace gave us a donation. Excuse me. He gave me a donation. And he said, quote, "Thank you for your help a little while ago, Raz. Of 20 United States dollars. Aussie, you're very welcome. What did I help him with? He started a podcast where he interviews FPS gamers. And he's done like 3 or 4 episodes already. I haven't listened to it yet. But
I don't think he's done them. I think he just has them all scheduled out. I think that's what it is.
Is that what it is? I thought I've seen the tweets.
I think he just keeps announcing like the first 4 or 5 episodes they're doing and like the dates and times. I don't think they've done one yet. I don't know. I haven't double checked yet.
Aussie Menace, friend of the pod. He's been around since week 1 probably. You can check him out. He's got a new podcast coming up. Yeah, he asked me for some advice and some info, so I helped him out a little bit. So we'll see how my advice goes. See if the podcast fucking crashes and burns like this one should have. And then I'll say, hey, you're welcome for the advice, fucking idiot. Thanks for the $20 though.
Yeah.
You know? So Aussie, thank you very much.
$20 back soon, man.
Not necessary, but I will of course be pocketing it. So yeah. And then last announcement is the dumbest TikTok comment of the day, which I have curated. I made a TikTok. I made 2 TikToks, in fact. We posted them. And this was on a video we made about slide canceling. Basically, it was when we were talking about how it's possible to slide cancel, but you probably shouldn't do it, because why? And then someone said, this is what I think was the dumbest comment of the day. You made a minute video about slide canceling. Implying a minute is long, by the way. The TikTok brain. This is petty content. Let them play how they want. They don't complain about your play.
Well, they do. People say that literally every video we post. They
look at every other comment there, and it's them complaining about our supposed play.
Yeah, and how we can't slide cancel.
That's the funniest fucking thing to me, is when we say slide canceling is dumb, people just assume we're only saying that because we are incapable of slide canceling, which is the easiest thing to do. Like, so insane to think that, first of all. But also, I am letting people how they play how they want. I'm trying to educate people. If you're slide canceling around and there's no reason to, I'm trying to help you. You can keep slide canceling if you want, but I'm just going to let you know there's no fucking reason to, and you'll do better if you stop. But I'll let you get fucking pissed on, and you can do that. So anyway,
well, this guy, I don't. He has had a few.
It's an educational TikTok. It's literally like, you guys you can, but you shouldn't. That's what I said. I didn't say stop or I'm going to DDoS you. I don't understand how it's possibly petty. It's so dumb.
Yeah, this guy has had a few dumbest comments before.
Really?
He has the most brain dead takes from our TikTok commenter. Every single video where we complain about anything at all, he comments on it and talks about how negative we are. But then on the videos where we say good things, he of course never leaves a comment on any of those. Never. But when we complain about things, then he goes on and complains about us complaining about things in our comment section.
Got it.
So and we've watched his gameplay. He's no offense to him, but he's of course terrible. We've talked about it before. He's a really bad player. So yeah. Go figure, he's complaining about stuff like that. He legitimately probably doesn't know how to slide cancel, actually. You can use that against him. I bet he doesn't. Go watch his gameplay and you guys can figure it out.
Yeah, so shout out to OB1, change it.
And you were right about the TikTok strategy, by the way. The backpack video where all we did was explain how something works in the game got 6 or 7 times the amount of views as the slide canceling one.
Yeah.
Way more likes, bunch of comments. Every comment was positive. That's just, I guess, how you have to grow. I mean, when you look at the biggest COD TikTokers, I think of Nixta, who was invited to COD Next. He became popular off of TikTok, literally making like short form 10-second videos, no opinions ever, just discussing what they changed in the patch and like saying this was changed today. And that's how he got so popular. He's literally just doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and I don't, frankly, I don't understand that type of content. I don't think there's any point in regurgitating something again unless you're going to give your own input to it, but it works. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that too when I was looking today. I was like, oh, wow, that backpack one did well.
I would rather hear other people's opinions, but I guess a lot of people just don't. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. Obviously, we do this podcast, so yeah. So anyway, shout out to you. All right, so that's it. Let's get into this thing. If you're listening for the jingle, here it is. Dumbfire, welcome back. Tier 1, 19 months. Ozzy gonna pop off. True, dude. He's a menace, man. Dub, thank you, buddy. I appreciate the 19 months. All right. Today, we've got a lot to talk about. First, patch notes, changes already in effect. And now, onto news and upcoming changes. There were, of course, no patches. First of all, we have some details on the beta. This entire episode is going to be about MW2, by the way. There's nothing to talk about with Warzone 1 or Vanguard or I don't know. What else is there to zombies? Nothing happened. Which again, I'm fine with. I don't want them doing anything. I want them working on MW2.
Forgot about Vanguard.
And that's all we're talking about today, because that's all there has been in the past week. We had COD Next, obviously. It's been a big week for MW2. So, just some info, a reminder on the schedule for the beta weekend 2. This is going to be for everybody: Xbox, BNet, Steam, and PlayStation. September 22nd to 23rd is going to be early access. We are assuming that's going to be 10 a.m. Pacific time on the 22nd of September.
It has been confirmed. It is 10 a.m. Yep.
Okay, there you go. And that's going to be early access. So if you pre-ordered or if you got a beta code, you can do that. And then starting on the 24th through the 26th, then it's open to all players. So you don't need to pre-order. You don't need a code. It'll just be open, truly open beta. So that's 4 days of beta, 22nd to the 26th, starting this Thursday. And as I said, we will be playing tomorrow and maybe streaming it. So we also got a blog post from infinityward.com. And this is what did they title this? Community Update, Beta Weekend 1. When was this published? I think this was very recently.
2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yesterday.
So they made a blog post concerning MW2 and the beta. This is from Infinity Ward, the lead dev team on MW2. So we're going to comb through all this. Hello, MW2 players. It has been amazing to see so many of you hopping into weekend 1 of our beta on Sony platforms. And look forward to many more of you joining us for weekend 2 across all of them. There has already been a fantastic amount of feedback on Reddit and social media, which we'll get into, as well as a ton of stats collected on our side. In addition to the new maps and modes we have lined up for weekend 2, we also have some changes and new things we're trying that we'll be sharing with you this week. Throughout weekend 1, we played the game, watched the game being played, read your feedback, and talked to many of you. At a high level,
they read the feedback. They read it.
Yeah, that's fair. You're right. They do read the feedback. They just don't implement any of it. At a high level, leading into weekend 2, we fixed various crashes. Cool. Addressed a few gameplay exploits. Cool. Patched some map geo and lighting issues. Big if true. Updated progression for some Gunsmith related bugs. And now we're getting into the good stuff. Here are some things we have heard from you on minimap.rules. Okay, so there's a big controversy about the minimap and how in every COD game ever, except MW 2019 and this game apparently, if I shoot a gun and it's not suppressed, I'll show up on the minimap because I'm going loud. And every COD game for 20 fucking years has played this way. Everyone's liked it. Everyone's been a fan of it. Everyone's used to that playstyle. And of course, what does Infinity Ward do? They say, nah, we're going back to the MW 2019 minimap, where we'll always have the minimap on your screen. It's just never going to show red dots unless you have a UAV popped. Even if someone's barking with a LMG with a fucking megaphone as a muzzle device. Cool. Got it. So no one liked that. There was a huge uproar in MW 2019 and they never changed it. And then Infinity Ward was like, hey guys, we really want your feedback. Please give us your feedback. They made a tweet specifically asking for feedback with a link to where we can provide the feedback. So what did the community do? They clicked that link and they gave them their feedback. Unanimously across the board, I've never seen anyone say, I prefer the minimap this way. Every fucking Call of Duty player wants the old minimap back. So everyone says that in the feedback, and then here's what they say. Currently in the MW2 beta, after getting the feedback they asked for, currently in the MW2 beta, we only show enemy player dots when a UAV is active. The design reason for this is that we do not want to punish players for firing their weapons. We also want players to actively search out the origin of a gunshot. With all the audacity, with all the audio pollution in Infinity Ward games, you're telling me I have to echolocate where gunshots are coming from?
Yeah, hey, that didn't work.
The announcer is actually rapping in my ear, and there's a precision airstrike fucking my ass every 2 seconds. Got it. Versus just traveling directly to where the dot is on the minimap. We continue to gather feedback on how the game is playing in regards to this topic. Got it. What were you gonna say?
You're absolutely right. Do you remember in MW 2019 playing like Euphrates Bridge? There would be a VTOL directly overhead. Someone would have a gunship in the air, and there would be some other loud piece of something on the map, and they have the audacity to say, "Oh, just listen for the gunshots."
It's so insane.
How?
It's so insane.
You guys, literally in the beta, in MW 2019, they talked about, oh yeah, you're right, the streaks are a little bit too loud, we lowered them, and then they never actually lowered them. And still in Warzone to this day, the sound of an airstrike is deafening. But yeah, hey, just listen for gunshots, right?
It's so absurd. It's so absurd. And this is exactly like Tanner's been going wild on the TL, as has everyone on this topic. Tanner made a great point. Infinity Ward is just the most stubborn Activision Call of Duty dev studio, which is absolutely true.
They may be just the most stubborn video game studio out there, honestly.
And here's the thing. It's like, sometimes when you ask for feedback, you don't implement all the feedback you get. Like, I get that. Sometimes we ask for feedback and don't implement the feedback we get. Like, hey, you should do this or you should not do that. And it's like, well, actually we can't or won't for these reasons or whatever. But there are usually good reasons to why we don't do things. Okay. For example, in this case, every single person who plays your game wants the old minimap back. It would be trivially easy for you to go back to the old minimap. It wouldn't take any design or coding time at all. And you asked for feedback, and then you just refuse to implement the feedback. It's easy for you to do, and everyone wants it. Why would you not do it? And it's not going to ruin the game. It's not something like people are asking for something that would be really bad for the game, even though they don't realize it. We know that's not true because we've had the traditional minimap before and the game played well. Better than without it, in fact. So the audacity of Infinity Ward to ask me for feedback when everyone gives them the same feedback and they tell us to go fuck ourselves is insane. Don't give them feedback on anything ever again, because it doesn't matter. They're just going to do what they want to do regardless. I don't know why they're asking for feedback. It's actually just a psyop. They're asking for feedback just to look good, just to pretend that they will actually implement any feedback they get. But if they won't implement feedback on this topic where everyone agrees they want the classic minimap back, then they won't integrate feedback on any topic, because there will not be any feedback again ever that everyone agrees on to this proportion ever. No one ever is gonna, the community's never gonna agree on any other point more than they agree on this. We need to go to a classic minimap. And everyone's been saying it to them. Everyone's been giving them that feedback. And they said, go fuck yourself. Kind of like Ted Timmons. Did Infinity Ward hire Ted? Because that's what Ted did too. Are you guys mad you're dying to precisions inside of buildings surrounded by rebar and 8 feet of concrete in every direction? Well, go fuck yourself. We know you're complaining about it. I hear your feedback and I will not implement it, even though everyone wants to. Infinity Ward's doing the same thing. So maybe Ted works at both studios. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but never give them feedback. It doesn't matter. They're going to do what they want. Your feedback means nothing, and it's actually offensive. It's an insult to my intelligence to ask me for feedback when I know you're just going to do what you want to do regardless. And why? Well, we can talk about that. But yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think what it comes down to for me, we were kind of talking about this a bit yesterday with like Jake. I don't care so much about the issue itself. I didn't like it at the start of MW 2018. You got used to it. You did end up just listening more, I guess. It was honestly, I think at one point we even talked about in MW 2019. I was like, it's honestly kind of nice not having to stare at my minimap constantly, but I do think the gameplay is way better without it. So for me, it comes down to, it's not literally the issue. It's the fact that, like you're saying, overwhelmingly, I saw so many polls ran on Twitter, Ghosts of Hope, leakers, other COD accounts ran votes that say, do you want red dots to show up on the minimap when firing an unsuppressed weapon? Like it has in every other COD game. Every poll I saw that had thousands and thousands of votes was literally 90% plus. And it's like, I know the Twitter COD community doesn't necessarily, kind of encapsulate the whole casual COD community in general. A lot of the casuals aren't on Twitter. But still, even with those people involved, it's like the vast, vast majority of the player base wants it the way it's always been. And why do you have to change things just to change them when they've always been a certain way and no one has ever complained about the issue ever? It's just, there's no reason to do it at all. It doesn't make the gameplay any better whatsoever. Another thing that I saw on Twitter that's kind of using Activision stuff against them, which I was a big fan of. Some guy, I have the tweet pulled up here. Some guy, Paradox, I guess his Twitter says Call of Duty League Observer, whatever that means. I don't know. I do wonder how people who have issues hearing or are deaf are supposed to run and find gunfights. In a time where we are making big strides in video game accessibility, this feels really wrong.
That's a based fucking tweet, dude. Yeah. That's such a based tweet. True.
Exactly.
True.
So it's true, and that's what we've talked about. They always talk about this accessibility stuff, but then things like that, the most basic thing you can do for accessibility, someone trying to play the game deaf, that is the easiest way you can help them play the game, actually, showing the dots. Because what are they going to know from a compass? Okay, it's that direction, sure, I don't know where. Whereas me, if it's showing up on my compass that direction, I can hear, oh, maybe they're 5 feet away on the other side of the wall, or maybe they're 100 feet away. That person doesn't know that. So I like that guy threw that take in there, because, they're claiming all about accessibility, and then they can't do the bare minimum. So yeah, what it comes down to is I don't get why they say we don't want to punish players for firing their weapon. Hey, if red dot showed up on a minimap, you know what those rats can do? They can crouch in a corner with a suppressor on and shoot in the corner. Yeah. They can still play that way, and then you don't punish everyone else trying to run around. And I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like, and every AR is going to have 6 suppressors in this game. So what are the suppressors going to do for me? What are the pros going to be? What are the cons going to be? How is any of that going to be balanced at all where it makes sense? But yeah, so more than anything, one, they're absolutely not changing this. Never. They don't care. Never. And so therefore I don't really care about the fact that much. It's just that they keep acting already like they care so much about feedback when they do not, because this is the #1 topic constantly brought up on Reddit, Twitter, everywhere. Charlie Intel is wilding on the TIA, which I love seeing. One of their tweets had like 25,000 likes. They're like, they're like, I don't know what the fuck Infinity Ward is doing, basically. I pulled it up. So that's what it comes down to, is they don't care about feedback. And they, they gave us this whole rant too about how, we heard you guys' feedback on MW 2018. We're changing things. They changed the layout of the maps. Excellent. And then the other massive complaint besides the maps was what? The red dots, and they're back, and they don't care. Yeah. They're stubborn. They think they know what's best. They don't actually play the game ever throughout the year. So yeah.
Yep. Totally agree. And this is exactly what happened, exactly what happened with MW 2019. Why did we get the terrible fucking awful maps we got in MW 2019? That we have it on record, on video. They said we wanted to design more porous maps so that lower skilled players would have a better chance of just running up on someone getting a kill. Something like that. Yeah. It was basically the more porous maps caters to casual, which is a euphemism for bad players. And that's fine. There are going to be bad players, and to some extent you should cater to them. Not to the extent to where you ruin all your maps, obviously, and also don't cater to them too much. Otherwise you're not going to have anyone playing your game but casuals, and then casuals play games for a month and then leave. So nice money. But this is exactly what happened. MW 2019 map design was designed explicitly to cater to bad players, casual players, at the expense of good players, experienced players, fans of the franchise, loyal fans of the franchise who have bought fucking dozens of Call of Duty games. And they did it expressly for the purpose of money. Because why do you cater to casual players? Obviously, to get more players, more player retention, more microtransactions. Duh. Companies are, of course, going to do this. I don't blame them necessarily, but there are better ways to make more money. That was a terrible way to make more money, which is why they made the maps better in this game. But I'm not necessarily blaming them for trying to maximize their bottom line, but I'm going to make it abundantly clear. Companies don't care about the integrity of their gameplay experience. They care about making as much money as they can. That is why they're doing this. That is why they are keeping the red dots off the minimap, even though fucking everyone wants them. It's to maximize their bottom line. They made this decision with MW 2019. They're going to continue to make this decision with MW 2022. So, yeah, I just don't forget it. Just don't forget that they don't care about the integrity of the game. They don't care if the game is fun. They care about maximizing their bottom line.
Yeah, which they have one way
to do, but just and that's fine. I don't blame them for that. But just keep your eye on the ball. Don't believe the lies when they say they care about feedback. They don't care about feedback. They care about how much money they're going to get. So companies are going to do that, and it's not their fault. But don't let them lie to you. Don't let them lie to you. Don't believe that they care about feedback. They don't. They care about how much money they're going to make.
Yeah. And I saw some other people on Twitter bring up some excellent points too that were like, I feel like Infinity Ward is taking the success of Modern Warfare 2019 and thinking it's because of the changes they made, when it's like, no, we were in the first global pandemic we've had in fucking years where everyone is at home across the world for a whole year. And Warzone came out alongside of that for the first time ever.
And it was the first crossplay Call of Duty ever too.
Yeah, there were so many things, and it's like, I feel like they're taking that into consideration when they think how well that game performs. It's like, no, everyone complained about that shit from the start of the beta. It's just, it was a new Call of Duty game and everyone was locked away at home and had nothing else to do.
True. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, the sales of that game were despite the changes.
Yeah.
From the core gameplay experience, not because of it. That game did well despite the fact that the minimap was worse. And the maps were worse. It was not because of those changes. It was despite those changes. The game sold well because COVID, and it was the first crossplay ever, and Warzone was super successful, again, partially because of COVID and crossplay. So yeah, that they could be conflating that. Activision is dumb enough to conflate all those variables and think those things are good. So, and I want to give kudos, I want to highlight this Charlie Intel tweet and give kudos to Charlie Intel, because Charlie Intel, these guys are COD partners or what? They're deeply affiliated with Call of Duty. They get all the care packages and shit. They're in the mix, and they have something to lose by whiling on the TL, but they're doing it anyway. And I respect Charlie Intel for this. So shout out to Charlie Intel. This is something Tanner and I talked about very recently, like these COD partners that just suck the cock of Activision constantly to keep their fucking creator code. Charlie Intel, to their credit, has been fucking whiling on the TL. And here's a great tweet. 2 tweets from them. This was tweeted yesterday from Charlie Intel. The feedback the community had for MW 2019 is the same for MW2. No red dots on minimap. Lobbies are still disbanding, so lobbies don't stay together between games. Dead silence as a field upgrade. Well, agree to disagree on that one. SBMM's effect on the game. And nothing has changed, smile. And then a follow-up tweet. It is clear that there's a higher catering to casual players with Infinity Ward's games. And also clear that they believe casual players enjoying the game is more important than the hardcore player experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely true. And I think something Infinity Ward forgets in that analysis, because I think that analysis is correct. The reason and again, of course, why cater to casual players? Because then you can maximize your player base, so then you get more money. Obviously, that's why Activision's doing this. And that's obviously true. But the part of the equation you miss is that if you have a casual player playing your game for long enough, they stop being a casual player. And then they're like, wait, I actually kind of do want a classic minimap now. I actually am kind of annoyed at SBMM now because every game I have to sweat in all of a sudden. And this may have been cool on my first week. Although, again, I would argue that point, and we've done that in the past. I'm not going to rehash that. But now it's not cool, and I'm going to go play Apex. Or I'm going to go play Fortnite. Because, congratulations, you made these changes to cater to casual players, many of which are actually counterproductive. And then they stop being casual players, and then they leave. And then it's like, how long can this go on before Call of Duty is just not as successful as it once was?
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is the death of Call of Duty. It absolutely isn't. This game is going to sell buckets of cash, and Call of Duty is going to be a very popular franchise for at least another 5 years, probably much longer. But there does exist some point where you have overdosed on casual catering, and then your game is just unrecognizable, and then no one plays it. That point does exist. We're not there yet. I wouldn't even say we're very close, but we're getting closer. And you have to recognize that again, casual players turn into hardcore players. They turn into veteran players, and you want to keep your most loyal fan base happy so that they keep playing your game and making content about your game. If the game gets so casual friendly that gunfights are just RNG and shit, no one's going to stream your game. And then you're going to lose a lot of sales. There's a point where you overdose on this shit. They're not there yet, but I don't know. It's something I would be worried about if I was at Activision. And further, all of this shit where they ask for feedback, we give it, and they say, hey, we heard your feedback, but go fuck yourself. You can only do that so many times before the resentment is just bubbling over the surface. And people just say, fuck your game. Nick Merckx did it. Nick Merckx. He giant content creator who got so many people to watch him play Call of Duty. At some point, he said, no, you know what? Fuck you, Infinity Ward. My resentment is, I've overdosed on resentment. It is off the charts. I'm done with your game. And he stopped playing. And that cost Activision thousands and thousands. He was still invited, of course. That cost Activision thousands of dollars. It's unquantifiable, but Nick Merckx not streaming Warzone for the fucking year that he didn't cost Activision thousands of dollars. I can guarantee you that at an absolute minimum, if not tens or hundreds or maybe even $1 million+ actually, because that exposure, 40,000 people a day for 8 hours a day, is fucking insane. That's going to give you so much money as a company. And Nick Merckx was like, you know what? No, I have too much resentment. See ya. Fuck you. I'm done. That can happen and will happen with other players. It happened with Kaylee Renee too. And I'm sure there are others as well who are not quite as big. But like you can cater to casuals so hard that your big streamers who don't need you, like Nick Merckx doesn't need to be a COD partner. He makes plenty of money without Activision. He's not beholden to them. So if they snub these veteran players enough, every popular streamer you have is a veteran player, a hardcore player, not a casual player. Snub them enough, they're going to fucking leave. And then you're going to lose money, and you're going to lose eyeballs, and you're going to lose viewers. So, like, these are things to keep in mind. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just something to keep in mind. But all this resentment is just not good. It's not good to have your whole community fucking resent you.
Yep.
So...
yeah, anyway. and I just think it's funny too how they say we continue to gather feedback on how the game is playing in regards to topic. No, you're gathering it, you're obtaining it, but then you're not listening or doing anything with it.
What data do they have that says, what data exists that they can look at where they would say, even though everyone wants one thing, this data is so compelling, we're going to do not that thing?
Yeah, that's what people
what
keep
kind
saying
of data
on Twitter
must
too.
that be? Like, I don't know. It's just so insane. So, anyway. Yeah. Shout out to Infinity Ward. Fucking awful dev studio. And I've said it before. MW 2019, disaster, dog shit game. I don't know why all of you suck the cock of MW 2019, because it's not a good game. And here's why, because these are the fucking brainiacs behind it. So we'll see what happens with MW 2022. Let's move on. Target tracking. Support for today's episode comes from Vincero Collective. If you're not familiar with Vincero yet, they make exceptionally crafted and stylish watches at affordable prices. Other premium handcrafted watches have insane markups. But you can finally own a high quality and lasting timepiece without going broke. And the best part is, listeners of this podcast are getting hooked up to save even more with the biggest discount they offer. If you're looking for the perfect accessory to help elevate your style, for a limited time only, get 20% off and free shipping site-wide with our exclusive code DROPSHOT at VinceroCollective.com. Vincero Collective is a premium lifestyle brand out of San Diego, California that also makes high-quality and affordable sunglasses, jewelry, and more. I got a watch. I love it. Tanner got some sunglasses that he was rocking in Hawaii. He's a big fan of them. He sent me many DMs about them. Vincero is known for their exceptionally crafted, ethically made products for today's most ambitious people. Modern pieces that upgrade your look and stand the test of time. For all the boss men and women out there, their watches are a must. They can elevate your look with a twist of the wrist. Made with surgical grade stainless steel, durable silicone, and genuine Italian marble straps, these sleek, modern watches come with traditional, automatic, and Japanese quartz movements. All of their sunglasses come polarized with 100% UV protection and so many styles to choose from, and there are a ton. The eye-catching and modern designs can go with any outfit or trend, perfect for a day in the office or date night out. This is the perfect gift for yourself or someone you love. They can only offer this big of a discount for a limited time, so do not wait or it'll be too late. Get 20% off and free shipping site-wide with the code DROPSHOT at VinceroCollective.com. Please support our show, help us out. Use code DROPSHOT at VinceroCollective.com. I guarantee you'll find something that fits your style. Shop Vincero today. Today's episode is sponsored by True Classic. Guys, let's talk t-shirts. Finding that perfect fitting shirt can be terrible. I swear, it's either way too tight, has a case of bacon neck, or is just big and boxy. Luckily, True Classic wants to make every man look good and feel good. Tighter fit in the chest and sleeves to make your arms pop, and room in the torso to keep things cozy. I'm telling you, all of their styles are super soft and a great price for what you're getting. No excuses. Get rid of your ratty t-shirts that I know you've been hanging on to for years and get ready to upgrade. We have an exclusive deal for our listeners. We want to hook you up with some True Classic. For a limited time only, get 25% off with the code DROPSHOT at TrueClassic.com. Almost all men's t-shirts are designed to look good on a certain body type. Think skinny models with six-packs, which is none of you. But most of us are not packing anything but a few beers, and there's nothing wrong with that. It is simple, you're wearing the wrong clothes. I've got my True Classic t-shirt on right now. It's stupid soft, looks good. Peep the shoulders. Look at those shoulders. You don't get that with a normal t-shirt. True Classics tees taper off toward the bottom, but they fit tighter around the chest and the shoulders. You can throw on that True Classic with confidence, knowing we've got your bases covered. It's also more than just a t-shirt company. They have all the menswear staples you could need. Polos, workout shirts with the same flattering fit, boxer briefs designed to keep the boys feeling nice and cozy. They make it super easy to build out your wardrobe, and you'll get top-notch quality for a great value. They have a pack builder as well on their website where you can customize bundles with with all their essential products and save even more than the discount we're offering you today, which is already quite hefty. Get comfortable, get going, and upgrade your wardrobe with True Classic. Get 25% off at trueclassic.com with code DROPSHOT. Free shipping is included on purchases over $100, and there's a 100% risk-free guarantee with a 30-day return policy. True Classic. When you look good, you feel good. Back to the blog post. We've seen feedback that it is hard to track targets once you get into a firefight. We agree this is an issue, and we have changes incoming to reduce muzzle smoke opacity and to increase the visibility of the muzzle flash to help engage someone who is firing at you. Wait, what? Increase the visibility of the muzzle flash to help engage someone who is firing.
Oh, so
also,
the person...
enemy players will have more obvious muzzle flash.
But on their screen they won't or something? How does that work?
That's a great question. Because
if it's increasing it for both,
flash, yeah, that's not going to help. That's going to hurt.
That's interesting that they're doing that though, and they actually mention that, because that's the other thing that you always see is they're like, is people keep saying I need nameplates or something. I can't track anyone. I can't see anyone. And then, you know, a lot of like the K-BAM players I follow too are like, it sucks because on K-BAM, when you can't see anything, you literally just can't track. But if you have aim assist and you're aimed close enough to them, it's usually going to stay on target most of the time. Whereas like, you know, if you're on K-BAM and there's all the smoke, you may not even be able to see or have zero tracking. So that's actually a good idea if it only shows up
if it doesn't include
out of their muzzle for you and not for the person shooting. So we'll see how they do that. But that's an interesting thought to be able to track people a little bit easier. It's kind of cute.
I agree. I do like the idea because they don't want nameplates because it like ruins the immersion and their fucking realism boner that Infinity Ward has always had.
Yeah.
And that would help with the visibility. That would solve visibility if there were nameplates. But they don't want to do that for that realism aspect. So they just have to find another way so that I can fucking see enemy characters on my screen when I should see them. Muzzle flash could be a good solution, actually. It wouldn't help me see people not shooting, which could be annoying, but
that's true.
It's better than nothing. It's way better than nothing. And there are absolutely times in MW 2019 where if there was very obvious muzzle flash from enemies, I would have gotten kills that I should have gotten that I otherwise didn't get because I just die before I even know where that person is, even though they're right in front of me on my screen. Sick visibility in MW 2019.
Yeah, you know, the more I think about it, actually, it won't help that much because the time to kill in this game is insanely fast, like MW 2019. So it's like, if someone's sitting there and you don't see them anyways, like if they're in a corner or something, by the time they start shooting and you can see the muzzle flash, you're going to be dead literally before you have time to react. There's been plenty of people testing the time to kill. A lot of instances, the time to kill is actually faster than MW 2019, where it's like physically not possible to even react in that amount of time.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Because the TTK is about the same as MW 2019, based on what I've seen. We haven't played yet, but I'm basically certain that that's true. So yeah, it wouldn't. Adding more muzzle flash to other players would not solve the issue of visibility, but it would at least be a start. And
yeah, it'll definitely help.
And then more importantly than that, we are also investigating more ways to visually differentiate enemies and friendlies outside of the standard nameplates above heads of the opposing players. We will be trying a few changes in Weekend 2. More on that later this week. That's very interesting to me. This is a good sign. And this is an example of, I guess, them actually taking feedback into account. And that's the thing, is like, if the feedback is on something that they don't expect to cut into their bottom line, then they will likely implement it. Because they don't want to make a game that's terrible. They'll make whatever change is going to make their game better, as long as it's easy enough to make and it doesn't cost them money, or they don't think it's going to cost them money. The minimap thing, they obviously think would cost them money. That's why they're not going to do it. But, you know, being able to see other players, they don't think it would cost them money to fix that issue, so they're actually willing to fix it. So this is at least something, and that's good. I am very, very curious what their supposed change is going to look like. Again, they're investigating more ways to visually differentiate enemies and friendlies outside of nameplates. We will be trying a few changes in Weekend 2. What do you think that could mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sitting here trying to think about that.
Could just be like a highlight.
What they could do.
You know?
Like a light highlight around the characters. Something that like you don't even really notice, but it does make it maybe stand out a little bit more or something.
Yeah. So it like still would look fairly realistic, and you wouldn't even be able to tell me there's a highlight unless you saw a side by side without it. And then you'd be like, oh, I see what they did. I could see them doing something like that, and that would help a lot, I think, depending on how obvious it is. But I can't imagine what else it would be if not a nameplate or a highlight. Like, I don't know what else they could do.
The other interesting thing, though, will be the first beta was on PlayStation, far less settings. There are probably going to be settings we can change on PC graphic settings that make the visibility a little bit better. There are definitely things, changing anti-aliasing. There's all sorts of stuff that can make things appear sharper and easier to spot versus everything kind of blending together and being soft. So I think maybe in general we could see a little bit better visibility because of that. But even with MW 2019, you still had piss poor visibility, but a lot of that was actually due to like the sun rays and lighting where you couldn't change anything of it. So
yeah, that's true too. It is a new game. There might be better settings, more settings. Again, another thing that we talked about that I'm super curious to check out once I can actually play on a PC is DLSS. I really feel like there was some kind of terrible anti-aliasing setting for everyone at COD Next. And if I can like disable DLSS, I think the sharpness is going to be way higher, and I think that's going to increase visibility. And it'll look a lot cleaner than the gameplay we saw at COD Next. I'm hoping. Not sure on that, but COD Next, all that gameplay really looked like DLSS was on. It really looked like that. So.
Even watching a lot of their YouTube videos after, the quality was so much better than obviously what we saw in live streams on Twitch and other places like YouTube. So it definitely seemed better that way, but I don't know. I don't remember this many people complaining about visibility in MW19 when we did. So if people are complaining about it now,
that's a great sign too.
Then I don't know if it's going to be worse if we're the opposite of what people think. Cause I don't know. Hey, so many people still thought the visibility in Verdansk 84 was okay. Got it.
Yeah. Let me clarify my statement. That's a good sign if it means that so many people will complain about the visibility that they actually make it better.
And they've already made some changes.
Yeah, and
so
as
that's
they've
good.
said, right? Yeah, exactly. But that'll of course depend on how they fix it. So, UI. We've seen the feedback around difficulty editing perk packages, managing loadouts, and accessing the armory. We've identified some UX issues as well as some bugs. They won't be able to adjust them in time for beta weekend 2, but they are top of mind ahead of launch. That's expected. That's fine. Perks. We've seen varied feedback on the perk package system. Some players love it, and others feel it's an unnecessary departure from the original system. We feel that it's a nice shakeup to how perks work and to the general progression of a match. We've also balanced the ultimate perks to be more powerful as you earn them later in the match. Okay. We'll continue testing throughout beta weekend 2, including drastically accelerating the earn rate of these to see how players react. Our goal remains improving the flow of all perks ahead of launch. Dead Silence is another hot topic, as many players have expressed that they would like to see it as a perk instead of a field upgrade. We believe it's important to game health that rushers are not able to move at high speeds without consequence. Dead Silence as a field upgrade creates a balance between freedom of movement and predictability of combat. Interesting. Very interesting. So I still don't exactly understand how the perk package system works. We will discuss that more on Saturday after we've played the beta. I haven't cared quite enough to learn about it because I know I'm going to figure it out tomorrow. So like, I didn't bother researching it much in preparation for today. Sorry, but we're going to talk about it on Saturday, so that we'll have to do. So I don't have anything to really say on the perk package system. From what I understand and from what it looks like to me, it doesn't seem that bad. It doesn't seem like It's not as big of a departure as not having a fucking working minimap. I can tell you that much. So I don't think it's that big of a deal, but that is of course subject to change. On the topic of dead silence, I don't know how many people want dead silence as a perk. I don't know what percentage that would be, but it's a lot of people.
Probably 75% of the community wants it, at least. And it's pretty similar to red dots on minimap, I think.
Yeah, it is. And this is another example of them catering to casual players, even though the feedback for dead silence is overwhelmingly, we want it to be a perk. Not as overwhelmingly as red dots on the minimap, but very much decidedly pro perk. Now, I'm in the camp of I don't want dead silence as a perk or a field upgrade. I think it's fucking dumb. I don't want dead silence to exist in an FPS game. I think it's a stupid fucking mechanic. So I don't really care personally. But on the principle, I find it offensive for the exact same reason I find the red dots offensive. If the vast majority of your community wants something and you ask for feedback and then you don't implement that thing, and then you have the audacity to lie to us and say that it is because, quote, we believe it is important to game health that rushers are not able to move at high speeds without consequence. Well, okay, that may be true, but the reason you're not having dead silence as a perk isn't because you care about game health. It's because you care about money, and not having dead silence as a perk, in your eyes, gets you more money because it caters to casuals more. Now, let me be clear. Activision devs don't play their own game. They don't realize that as it stands right now, with dead silence behaving as it does with the cooldown it has as a field upgrade, it's already up 90% of the time. You guys saw COD Next. Everyone was running dead silence, and it was actually literally probably up 70 to 75% of the time.
Oh, yeah. So Swag had it the whole time.
So not having it as a perk doesn't even matter. I mean, having it as a field upgrade is virtually equally as bad as having it as a perk. So this is just Activision being wildly out of touch. If you want dead silence in the game, field upgrade or perk, it needs to not make you silent. It needs to make you quieter, but not silent.
100% agree. 100%. It needs to have some sort of sound to it. It shouldn't be completely quiet.
Which it is.
I absolutely agree with that. Yeah. It also doesn't give a speed boost, by the way. It wasn't giving one. That was tested.
Okay.
It certainly appeared that way.
Well, Activision devs don't play their own game. Yeah. So that's not surprising to me at all. But yeah, it's like if you don't want people running around silently, then don't make dead silence a field upgrade versus then the conversation shouldn't be about perk versus field upgrade. The conversation should be about dead silence. I don't understand it, but yeah, what are your thoughts on this?
I like it better as a field upgrade than a perk for sure. My other thing is, I used to care about this a lot, but I'm not going to play 6's COD this year because 6's Call of Duty is terrible in 2022. Yeah. So I'm going to play Ground War only, so I don't give a shit. No one's going to run Dead Silence in Ground War. Well, people usually don't. They didn't in MW2 2019. People were run Stopping Power, usually, ammo, a lot of other shit before they run Dead Silence, so I just don't care that much. My biggest thing is I know the competitive community really doesn't like it, and so far it sounds like all of these changes in MW2 are terrible for the competitive scene, and these guys are supposedly going to have to be playing this game for 2 years, maybe.
Why does the competitive scene want Dead Silence as a perk? They want just no footstep audio in their game because everyone would run it.
Correct.
It's so dumb. Oh, yeah, I don't understand it.
That's what they run in the CDL. Because they say otherwise it means like you can't rush or they're forced to play slower.
That's kind of fair for like Search,
ADS. I think back like in COD 4 when we played, it was if you wanted to remain silent, you would ADS walk. So you would move slower. Dead Silence was banned, and you would move slower and you'd be ADS and like ready to take on a gunfight. And ADSing in COD 4, at least in the mod we played, I think was entirely silent. I don't think it made any audio at all. So if you're like pushing like a bomb sight up a staircase or something, you'd be pre-ADS the whole time. So you're walking, not making any audio. But there was no dead silence ever. And I think that type of system is more competitive, honestly. But
I totally agree.
I don't know.
Because you can still move silently, but now you have to take a drawback instead of just automatically being able to tack sprint silently. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not a CDL fan, as we've gone over plenty of times, but I know all of them really don't like this change. So I feel for them if they're going to have to play a game for 2 years with a system that they really hate like that.
Yeah.
But all in all, I care far less about dead silence than I used to. And I would definitely rather have it as a field upgrade. The only thing is that in 6s, it's like, cool, we have 10 field upgrades and no one's going to use any of them. And everyone's just going to run dead silence. So it's like, if everyone's going to run dead silence anyways, you may as well just add it as a perk. Because then you wasted all this time developing all these interesting field upgrades, maybe, that people just aren't going to use because everyone wants to run dead silence still.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm with you. It just defeats the purpose of it, the whole thing.
I agree. On a personal level, I don't really give a shit because, 6's COD died in 2019 on September whatever the date MW 2019 launched. That is the moment that 6's COD died forever. It'll never be fun again. So I don't really care that much about that. And therefore I don't care that much about dead silence personally. However, again, the principle of it, where you ask for feedback, you get overwhelmingly the same feedback and then tell them to go fuck themselves, is offensive to me. Stop lying. And then also, on the topic of dead silence itself, no one will ever run any other field upgrade if it behaves the way it did in the alpha at COD Next. The cooldown was way too short. The footsteps were completely silent, and a kill reset the timer completely. No one is ever going to not run dead silence in 6s.
Yeah.
If it behaves that way. So I think it needs a nerf. It needs to have a way longer cooldown, or it needs to not reset on a kill, or it needs to not make you completely silent, or a combination of those three. Some permutation of those three things.
The fact that dead silence resets
as it is right now.
Resets it entirely. Like Swags would be down to about 10%, about to end, he'd get a kill, and it'd reset it to 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It shouldn't work that way, I don't think. I think it should maybe give it, at the most, an extra 50%. Fill it up again, but maybe even less than that. But the fact that you can almost be out of dead silence and get one single kill in a game where the time to kill is 40 milliseconds, and then you just reset it again, I think that's a little too strong how it is. And then you get it with like less than 3 kills or less than 4 kills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Whatever they do, they need to do something, because like you said, no one is ever going to use any other field upgrade in 6s if dead silence is this fucking good, because it's insanely strong. So next is footsteps. When's the last time Activision talked about fucking footsteps, dude? Holy shit. This is actually amazing. Let's see the content of this particular subpoint here. Footstep audio in week 1 of the multiplayer beta was very high. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know. I'd be surprised.
It did seem very high from a lot of videos I watched. If you watch gameplay without them talking, you'd like it. Some of the footsteps sounded like when people were using Rage Serum on Warzone. Like seriously, they were that loud.
Great.
They were too loud.
Okay. Giving players long distance directional information about enemies. For weekend 2, we have some changes coming in. We are reducing the range of footstep audio for the various player movement states, jog, sprint, and tack sprint. So far, I'm fine with this. If the actual audio level is just as loud when you're close, but I can't hear you from quite as far, okay, that's fine. Let's continue. This will help soften the cost of moving around the map. Okay. The second change is that enemy and friendly footsteps are now distinct. That's really good if true. This should help players better understand what's going on as things move around on the battlefield. More details to follow. That's great. If friendly footsteps sound like very different than enemy footsteps, that would be good. And if I can't hear people from as far away, but once they're close enough, they're just as loud. They're sufficiently loud. They're audible, unlike Warzone. That would be fine. I'm actually okay with all of this. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. And also I think that's an issue, or that's one of the reasons you're hearing so much about dead silence right now, is because the footstep audio is insanely loud during the beta. So I think them lowering that will also make people complain less about not having dead silence as a perk. And then maybe that opens it up to even more people think, oh, the footsteps aren't that loud, then I will just run a different field upgrade and not use dead silence at all, because I don't think it's getting me killed that often. So I think that is like the best way you can balance it, really. So I like this change a lot.
Yeah. I like that they're not reducing the audio itself, just the range at which you hear audio. I think that's a good way to do it. Especially with iDub, because I'm very worried footsteps are not going to be audible, or they're going to be too quiet.
You heard footsteps fine in MW 2019. You're thinking more Warzone. Yeah.
In multiplayer, you did.
I'm not thinking Warzone when it comes to any of this. I'm just thinking like,
yeah, that's a good point.
Say Classic 6's COD or something.
That's a good point.
So the footstep audio on that game was good.
Loud. Slides. Sentiment around the removal of slide canceling remains positive.
Does it? About that. I don't.
Does it?
I don't know about that.
We are aware of the workaround and are contemplating. We are aware of the workaround, so they are aware that they didn't remove slide canceling. Okay, and contemplating how to handle it for weekend 2 of the beta. So maybe they're going to nerf the other slide canceling thing that you shouldn't be doing anyway. Additionally, we have some other slide changes for launch, which will make this movement feel a bit more fluid and snappy. What? And then they say
no mention of not being able to shoot when sliding, which is my biggest issue with it right now in general. Just being locked into a slide is clunky in and of itself. I don't know what change you can make for launch that makes it feel more fluid and snappy, unless you can shoot when sliding or something.
Well, they say sentiment around removing slide canceling is positive, implying they're happy that they remove slide canceling. And then they say we have some other slide changes for launch, which will make this. Oh, maybe they just mean sliding itself.
Yeah, because it does look clunky right now. It looks like a Cold War slide.
Got it. I understand now. Okay.
So I can see. Yeah, that definitely. Again, having not played, it's hard to tell what it felt like, but even just watching gameplay, that was like a very early thought that I had. It's like sliding looks a little off, like the animations itself coming out of the slide. So I think they're just kind of fixing the animations for that essentially. But yeah, I don't like how they don't mention anything about shooting, or I don't know. Well, we will see how they handle it for weekend 2, like they said.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want slide canceling to reset tac sprint, because then it's just going to make me... It's going to require all good players who want to be good to constantly slide cancel, which is just fucking annoying. So I hope it never resets tac sprint. However, I do want to be able to shoot and stim while sliding, just like in MW 2019. You know, like my only issue with slide canceling in MW 2019 is that it reset tac sprint. That shit is dumb. But if it doesn't, then I'd be fine with it. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So then they say stay tuned. So that's the blog post. Overall, interesting. I'm excited to get into it. I'm excited to play. But yeah. All right. So next, a couple other things to discuss here. We've got a little more to talk about than merely the blog post. And the first is the new Gunsmith system. So this is kind of old news. They did an intel drop before COD Next, talking about the new Gunsmith and how it's going to work. And there was like a 3-minute video on this topic. And I think we mentioned it in passing. I don't think we went into any great detail about it. We're not going to spend too much time talking about it, but I do have one question. So I kind of want to talk about the new Gunsmith and then so that we all have enough context for me to ask this question. So here's how the new Gunsmith works, and I don't think we've given our opinion on it either. So it's important we talk about it. Basically, you start leveling a gun. Let's say you have an M4 at level 1, okay? And it's a level 1 M4. And you start shooting it at people and killing people. As you level the gun, you unlock attachments. So you can unlock an underbarrel, you can unlock a stock, an optic, etc. One of the things you can unlock is called a receiver. And I guess in real life, the receiver is like what makes a gun a particular gun. So Tanner, you're going to have to explain this because I don't really get it. But like, you can have a mutant, an MK47 mutant receiver, or a AKM receiver. And they're both like the AK platform, but they're two different guns because they have different receivers. What's a receiver? I don't know. But that's what they're calling it for the... Did I get that right, Tanner, roughly?
I don't know exactly like usually how they define it. I just put a link in chat. Like that, when you hear the word receiver, it's basically like it's like where you start building a rifle off of, basically. So like in real life, there's a lot of shit going around that right now, because if you look at that part there that I linked, you can make those at home on like a mill, basically. And so you can technically make your own guns at home and not like, have a serial number and shit. And there's ways to do that and basically not register them. So that's like, yeah, of course. And the Fed. Everyone should be 3D printing guns at home. So basically, let's say that can... The way that's supposed to work in Modern Warfare is that particular one right there is designed for 5.56. So that's, M4 caliber right there.
Yes.
And so you can have a receiver that's designed for like 9mm is the way I'm pretty sure it works. So then how it's going to work in this game is you have an M4 that fires 5.56. And then you're going to have, at some point you unlock a different receiver for it. And that receiver essentially turns it into an SMG. It's a 9mm receivers. They have these in real life. You can get an AR-15 that fires 22. You can get an AR-15 that fires 9mm, etc. And so it's different calibers of the gun. So that's how the receivers are going to change in this game. There's a receiver you can get that changes it so you can use it turns it into like a belt-fed machine gun, I think, pretty much. So you're basically changing the caliber of the gun, which then change more attachments on the gun. So when you change it from 5.56 to 9mm, that means the barrels are going to change too, and then you're going to be running like SMG type barrels, but you're still basically on the M4 platform. So it's going to look very similar to that, but it's an SMG build that uses a different type of ammunition, different barrels, slightly different attachments, but it'll still use like the same optics and everything else like that.
Yes, exactly. So when you're leveling an M4, you're going to unlock various attachments, pistol grips, barrels, muzzle devices, whatever. And then once you unlock a receiver, let's say you unlock the 9mm receiver. Well, now that's a new gun. So that's how you unlock a new gun. That's one of the ways you can unlock new guns. So then you have the 9mm receiver, and every M4 attachment you've unlocked up to that point, you will also have unlocked on every other gun, including this new SMG you just unlocked by virtue of unlocking the receiver.
Yes.
So that's cool. They did not go into specifics about how many attachments you can have on a gun. That's probably common knowledge now for anyone that's played the beta. We will talk about that more on Saturday. I
think it was around 50.
No, like what limitations you have in custom class.
Got it.
Like if you're limited to 5 or 6, or if you're not limited at all.
Seems to be just 5.
I think the limit is 5, but we'll talk more about that on Saturday. But yeah, that's how you unlock attachments now, which I think is very good. If the Gunsmith does not allow you to use every single slot, that's also fantastic. And we will talk more about that as well on Saturday. Here's the question I have, though. So a receiver, if I'm leveling an M4 and I unlock a receiver, that unlocks a new gun, and it unlocks every attachment that the M4 also has. Okay. Let's say I buy a vault blueprint for an M4. The vault blueprint instantly unlocks every attachment for an M4. Okay. If a receiver is an attachment for an M4, which it is, and a receiver is also a new gun, which it is, then what happens when I buy a vault blueprint for an M4? Because I'm going to unlock all attachments, including receivers. So am I essentially unlocking fucking 5 guns and all of the attachments for all 5 guns when I buy one Vault Edition blueprint? Because it sounds like, yes, that will be what happens. Because receivers, again, are part of the M4 attachments, and that's a new gun, and you unlock all of them when you buy a Vault blueprint. And then attachments carry over to the new gun you unlocked. So I'm going to have all the attachments for all fucking 5 guns or however many different receivers there are. Is that how this is going to work? That's cool. I'll take it. I'm not mad at it, but it's like, that's a lot. And that will increase the price of these blueprints if that is how it works, which it sounds like it will be, right?
That's a great question. That's something I had not thought of until you wrote this down. I have no idea. Yeah. That's theoretically, because it's unlocking every attachment for that gun, so it should unlock the other receivers. Branched off optics and everything else. Well, the receiver is essentially the unlock. So you start with the M4, you level it up to like level 15 or 17, then you unlock another receiver. And then from that receiver, you start unlocking barrels and stuff for that gun. But then any of the optics you unlocked, I think prior to that, you can immediately use once you get like that receiver, and then you can use on other types of guns in that category. I don't know. Again,
I see what you're saying.
It was so confusing the way they explained it. Once we look at it for 2 minutes, we'll understand exactly how it works. So I don't know exactly, but that weapon vault question is fantastic, because that should unlock a bunch of optics for the whole tree then.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I have no idea how it's going to work.
So that'll be cool. I think you're right, though. I think you nailed it, though, actually. Because, the 9mm receiver will have unique attachments that the base M4 doesn't. So when you buy a Vault Edition, you probably unlock every common attachment for every single receiver, but you don't obviously unlock the unique attachments for each receiver. So if there's a 9mm specific barrel, then buying an M4 Vault blueprint is not going to unlock the other receivers like barrel. That's probably how it works. But correct, still, that means these vaults are fucking dope, dude. Having the Vault Edition is, for day one, you're going to have like a lot of attachments and guns on match 1, which is cool. So, yeah.
Exactly.
So that's good. Anyway, just wanted to talk about that a little bit. The firing range is confirmed in the game as well, so you can test your weapons in the firing range. I don't know if the firing range was actually usable in the beta. I never saw anyone shooting at it.
No, I don't think it was even an option.
So, yeah. So, pretty much no matter what, a firing range is going to be cool, because I can at least see how much recoil my gun has and how much like muzzle flash my gun has.
Recoil and like ADS speed.
And ADS speed. I think are the most important from shit multiplayer. Like that. Yeah. I do wonder still if there are going to be little dummies that show damage, but almost certainly not. Because you don't see damage numbers in multiplayer, you won't see them probably in the firing range. Because that was something we talked about briefly. Just wanted to bring that up. Don't hold your breath. But we are going to get a firing range, which is very cool. There will also be an FOV slider for next-gen consoles for MW2. And I think also all consoles. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I thought it was all consoles, I'm pretty sure. This was before the beta even went live when they tweeted that. So I think it was, right? Yeah, this was before the beta even went live. So I'm pretty sure all of them are getting FOV slider this year.
Yeah. So that's good. Congrats.
I thought that was already the case for like Vanguard, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Wasn't it for all consoles?
I don't know. But the big question is if that's going to carry over to Warzone 2.
Yeah, that's really what people care about, is the Warzone experience with it. So
we'll have to see. We will have to see. It is possible. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. They could have optimized this game so much better that it might actually be possible. We'll have to see. I wouldn't hold your breath, but anyway. What do we got next here?
Next up. This is from Charlie Intel. This is from a few days ago. They said, it's not clear what happened, but Activision has deleted all mentions of the Grand Prix map for Modern Warfare 2. The overview video and more have been removed from all social media. The map was originally announced to be in the beta. That was one we talked about. It was a night map taking place on Grand Prix. There's supposed to be cars driving around the circuit the entire time in real time, and you could like walk in front of them and get hit by them even. There was all sorts of talk about that, and it's deleted from everywhere. Every tweet they mentioned it, everywhere on their website and blog posts, I guess, have been deleted, all YouTube videos. So it's kind of up in the air what's going to happen. No one knows. Maybe we'll get it on launch, maybe we'll never see the map, or maybe we'll end up getting it in a couple seasons. A lot of people are thinking it has something to do with like licensing.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing was, I think it's based on a track in Singapore, and the next actual F1 race coming up, I guess, is in Singapore. I read something about that. Not sure what that would have to do with it, but people thought they were tied together somehow. I have no idea what the thought is there. Like, I think people were thinking because it's in Singapore. I don't know. But that's just something else I kept seeing. Anyways, don't really care too much. It was a night map, so
looked like whatever. A shit map, so I'm actually kind of glad. Hopefully the state of Singapore sues Activision. That would be fantastic. That would amuse me deeply. But yeah, I don't care at all. It's almost certainly some kind of licensing legality thing. Because why else would they like erase?
They did. The people that played it early did say that was their favorite map. I know a lot of the CDL players said that, and I know Charlie Intel tweeted that out. That it seemed that seemed like the best overall map from the ones they had played. Just I think they played like a 3 or 4 early. This was like a couple months ago or something. So
yeah,
if it is a good map and we never get it, that sucks.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever gonna get this map though.
Yeah, it's weird. They just it has to. It's obviously something legal.
Yeah, exactly.
Based on the fact they removed all mention of it, it's
because if it was just like buggy or something, they would have said that.
Oh yeah, of course.
They wouldn't have just fucking like pretended it never happened.
They nuked it.
Yeah, it got nuked. So anyway, last thing we want to talk about here is Tanner's favorite development studio, Rockstar Games, had I think like this is like the first time, or at least to this degree, the first time in history Rockstar has had a leak, certainly of this magnitude. Because Rockstar, as Tanner tells me, is notorious for being fucking leak proof, and their shit never leaks ever.
No,
but
you
not
never
anymore.
Hear anything about their game until they drop a trailer suddenly.
Not anymore, because we had a bunch of GTA 6 clips on the TL, and that game is not actually out yet, so it's kind of weird that there were clips and there was a leak. Did you watch them?
Apparently, I saw a little video on TikTok today. I guess there were literally tens of hours of leaked gameplay out there, so I saw literally less than a minute.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people surprisingly complaining about how bad it looks. I'm like, I never understand what people are expecting. It's like it literally looks like Grand Theft Auto. Like what drastic change are you like expecting? Virtual reality Grand Theft Auto? What are you expecting here? Like people were complaining about the graphics and shit, and this was supposedly footage from like 2019, 2020 also.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, it looked like Grand Theft Auto. I'm not expecting the GTA what is it? GTA 6? Yeah, GTA 6 graphics to be that much better than the previous GTA, because it's this vast, massive open world. The graphics are always nice.
Older,
yeah. So it's like the graphics are always a lot nicer, but I don't know what people were complaining about it whatsoever. I know you could play as like, I think there's a female that you play as and a male. I think it's kind of like similar to GTA 5 where there's different characters you could play. All I noticed is the female had a fat butt on her. So
nice.
Sure, all the guys will be nice. Well, actually, no, most of the guys will be bitching and not want to play as a female. But I mean, it looked... I don't know, looked like Grand Theft Auto. It really sucks that shit got leaked. And they did formally release a statement and said, yes, the leak is true. Someone essentially hacked our system and got all this information. And I guess they're taking like legal action against the person. Or I don't know what's going on, but
I'm sure they will, yeah.
I don't know. Look like Grand Theft Auto. We won't see the game for 2 or 3 years still, probably, though.
Yeah, so. Yeah, I'll play Grand Theft Auto. I never played GTA 5. I think about it every once in a while, and then I'm like, I don't know. I don't like the 8 main characters shit. I haven't played it, so maybe I'd feel different if I actually
I think
did,
you're overthinking it. You can play as one person mostly like the whole time. Well, I guess when you're doing the story mode, you kind of have to switch between it, but it's actually fun because you're getting numerous storylines in one, actually. So I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And then in free play, you can switch to any of them, and it's not like they're sitting there doing nothing as you're not playing as them. They're out doing their own shit. So you'll randomly switch to one of the other characters, and he just so happens to be in like a high-speed chase and already has a wanted level for doing some random random shit.
That's
so
funny.
then you take control of him. You can just leave him if you want and let him deal with it on his own, or you can play as it. So I think it's actually really fun how they do it that way. It was weird at first, but I think it's a good system. It gets you multiple storylines in one.
Yeah, people love the game. I'm not. Yeah. I don't doubt it. So anyway, anything else, Tanner?
Cock and balls.
Cock and balls, indeed. All right, that's it. We're done. Not the biggest ep today, but some things we wanted to talk about. Reminder. I mean, so many reminders. We're doing a beta gameplay tomorrow on Thursday, 10 a.m. Pacific time. Probably about that time, we'll be streaming the video game. We have a ton of really good content coming up. Particularly our Saturday episodes for the next year are going to be fantastic. Because there's going to just be so much content to sink our teeth into and give analysis on. And I'm very, very excited about our upcoming Saturday episodes, as well as our Patreon episodes, patreon.com/thedropshot. We do 5 bonus episodes per month. It is the best way to support the show. We do Q&A. We do behind the scenes eps. We do 3 miscellaneous eps that are kind of like the Saturday episodes where we really get balls deep. We can say things on Patreon we can't say on YouTube as well, or publicly rather, so you get a little more grit. And also, for all patrons, you get every public episode early and ad-free. Now is the best time ever to join. We have so much good shit coming up. I'm really excited for the pod and for the game Call of Duty coming up. So now's a really good time to join if you've been thinking about it. Patreon.com/thedropshot. It's also your best way to support us and let us continue doing this. And to all of our patrons, we love you and appreciate you. So check it out. Go to thedropshot.com. You can find links to the Patreon there. You can find links to everything there. The Twitter, the Discord. We post our schedule on those places every week. Our YouTube for video versions of the episodes, the podcast, and more. So check it out. thedropshot.com. Thank you all for watching and listening. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, stay humble.
Stay humble.